Happy Camper Radio starts in 3, 2, 1. It's so good to be back with you. Hello once again. Skip here, the Happy Camper, and this is the Happy Camper Radio Show. Ready to take you on another interesting experience in the world of camping. And today, folks, on the show, we're going to be talking about things to do to keep your kids occupied. Are you a young family? Do you enjoy getting out? Do you enjoy the camping life? And you know, having your kids along, they've got a lot more energy than you do. And it's very important that you keep them occupied throughout the entire adventure. And that includes leaving from home and arriving at the campsite, regardless of how long of a drive it may be. You've got to keep your kids engaged. And without that, they are going to be bored half out of their minds. Our phone number here at the Happy Camper Radio Show is 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and now subscribe to YouTube. So many different ways that you can reach out and connect up with us. And all you've got to do is go to our homepage, which is www.happycamperradio.com. You're going to find all of our social media icons on the right-hand side of the page. Click on any one of them, and you'll connect right up with us. And whenever you do connect up on any of our social media sites, definitely make sure that you hit the like button, make sure that you add us to Circles, make sure that you become a follower on Twitter, because once you do that, we can give you a shout-out on the show, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now. I'm going to head over to the shout-out window, open it up. We've got a nice long list of folks who signed up this past week and became happy campers. First of all, to Christy Middleton of Salt Lake City, Utah. She likes us on Facebook. Travel Usher follows us on Twitter. Terry Blanchard of the Hidden Valley RV Park, George Yates, who is a full-time camper. The folks over at Memory Lane Campground and RV Park in Canada, hello to you folks. Jamie Hall Bruzenak of Arizona, saying hello to Pete and Ellen of BigRigBible.com. They're also full-time campers. Michael and Patrice of Michigan Rock Cut RV Park and Campground in Kettles Fall, Washington. Hello to Chad and Bambi Manure, Range RV in Hesperia, California, Mary Hone, Dusty Green, and finally to Stephen Myers. They all added us to Circles this past week on Google+. Thank you all so very much. Wonderful to have each and every one of you aboard. And thank you for being a happy camper. Hey, have you made your reservation yet to any particular campground between now and September 7th? If you have done so, please make the pledge for the Great American Campout 2015. It's very, very simple to do. It's sponsored by the National Wildlife Federation. And folks, this is a great benefit. I have taken part in it. I have taken my pledge. And the neat thing is, it does not cost you a dime to do this. And the National Wildlife Federation, and you may have heard me talk about this on some of our previous episodes, they have a sponsor that is going to donate $1 for each and every person who signs up and takes the pledge to go camping between now and September 7th. And all of that money, up to $100,000, is going to benefit wildlife. It is a fantastic benefit. I went to their website just before throwing the mic switch, and what do we have? 65,121 people have already taken the pledge. Is your name on that list? You can go to our website, happycamperradio.com. I have some information right there on the homepage, including a link to the pledge form. It just takes a couple minutes to fill out. Even if you haven't already made reservations somewhere, just take the pledge. Make the pledge to go camping 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, a whole week, even a month if you can afford to do that. The more time you spend with nature, the more time that you get your kids engaged in the world of camping, the better world this is all going to be. And again, it's a great benefit. I highly support it. We have been talking it up for the past few years here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Anytime the National Wildlife Federation rolls around with their Great American Campout, I definitely take the time to beef it up because I want to see those numbers climb too. I want to see everybody participate, everyone who listens to this show. I want to see them reach that magical number of 100,000 campers and see all that good money be spent on wildlife. All right, folks, here's what I have on the show today. We're going to be talking about keeping your kids occupied anytime you decide to go camping. And it all starts at home. I remember my two daughters taking them camping when they were younger. This is a way back, folks, all right, because my kids are now grown. They're young adults. They're out of the house. They're living their own lives. And if you've done it upright and you started taking your kids camping and it became a regular family tradition, you will find that your kids are now engaged in camping as adults. And they're moving on, and later on down the road, when your kids have kids and you have grandkids, they're going to want to go camping too. It passes on from generation to generation. My kids went camping with me when I was much younger, and we didn't do too much tent camping back then because I had a truck camper, and it was kind of like taking home along with you out on the road. So that's how they spent their time with Dad anytime he went camping. Mom was not a camper, and I couldn't force it on her. I didn't want to force it on her. But anyway, she decided to stay home and take care of the pets, and I would take the girls camping. But anyway, they're much grown now, and they're out on their own. I bring this up because it's real important. I had a little surprise thrown at me here a couple weeks back. My youngest daughter was invited to go on an overnight camping trip on Lake Lanier here in Georgia. And a couple friends of hers asked her if she would like to go along. She called Dad up and asked him if she could borrow a tent and a sleeping bag. Well, right away, Dad, without hesitation, went out into the garage, went through his gear, and I fixed her up with everything she needed for an overnight camping trip. And I was having so much fun, and I was so delighted to know that she was finally getting back into the world of camping. In fact, here's what's real interesting, folks, and I've got to bring this up. My tent that I've got, and I purchased this a couple years back, maybe a little longer than that. Maybe it's been about 4 years now. But I went ahead and bought this tent, and I've set it up so many different times, I could do it blindfolded. And I didn't have the instructions anymore. I never thought for a moment that any one of my kids would come to borrow camping gear. And here I am loaning my tent to my daughter and have no instructions. Surprisingly, I went online and I searched around high and low, and I could not find a set of instructions for this particular model of tent, which makes me wonder if they're even manufacturing it anymore, this particular brand anyway, or this particular model. The brand, yeah, definitely, it's an Alpine tent. It's still around. But anyway, she came over here to the house, and we sat down in the studio, and here I am drawing up a set of instructions on how to set up this tent. And I'm saying to myself, she is going to be arriving late. She's going to the campground after work. It's going to get dark. Here I am giving her a set of instructions and hoping for the best, keeping my fingers crossed, thinking that she is going to get this tent set up with no problem and no hesitation at all. And I'm worried about it here for a moment. Sure enough, she goes ahead and sets this tent up. I found out about it after the fact when she came home and she brought the gear back to Dad, and she had an absolute wonderful time. And I really began to think that I was having more fun than her, just knowing the fact that she was getting back into camping. But she had a great time. Her friends were there. She didn't have to worry about bringing any cooking equipment or anything like that because, they were only spending one night and some other friends were taking care of that. All she had to do is show up with a tent and a sleeping bag and she was good to go. But the fact is, she had a great time, and if she did not enjoy camping as a kid, I doubt very much that she would have taken the time to say to her friends, okay, yeah, I'm going to join you on this trip. But she did. And hopefully she's going to be camping many, many more years down the road. I have to work on the other daughter, too, to see where she's at in life as far as camping goes. It's going to be very important for you to keep your kids interested in camping throughout their entire life as they're living at home. It's so very important. If you're a camper and you enjoy camping and making it a family thing, then definitely your kids are going to want to take part. They're going to want to take part in all aspects of camping. Kids can lose interest fast if they are being left out. That's why I highly encourage everybody to include their children in anything they do when it comes to camping. If you have an upcoming camping trip and you know you've got plans, you're going to be gone for a few days, let's talk about it at the dinner table. That's a great place for family discussion. We sit around and we talk about what we did in school today. We talk about homework assignments. We talk about the upcoming football game this weekend. So the dinner table is a great place for family discussion, and it is also a great place to talk about camping and your upcoming camping trips. Keeping kids engaged will lift their spirits each and every time. So definitely you want to include each and every one of them. Don't ever make them feel like they're being left out or they're not going to want to go camping again. They're going to continue to look forward to future camping trips as long as they know they can take part. Here's one thing you want to do just before you go on any camping destination. You're going to have to take time to sit down and plan a menu and plan it very carefully. This is something, too, that your kids need to be involved in. Have you ever been told to sit down at the dinner table and eat your spinach? And you don't like spinach. I don't like spinach. All right? Yes, I have done that before. I've been there, done that. And I can remember many different meal options that were presented to me at dinner time without even consulting, do you like this? Would you like to have this for dinner? No, you sit there and eat it, or you go to bed hungry. That's not the attitude you want to take with your kids, especially on a camping trip. So as a family, you're going to want to sit down and carefully plan your camping menu. You're going to want to know what you're going to have for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. And definitely, folks, you want to seek some suggestions from your kids. What would you like? Because they're part of this too. They're out there to have just as much fun as you are. At the same time, when you're planning your camping menu, please encourage healthy eating. Don't lose track. All right, you want to keep yourself healthy. You want to keep your kids eating healthy. So definitely encourage some healthy eating along the way as you carefully plan your camping menu. That's keeping your kids engaged as well. Anytime that you purchase new gear, we've talked about this before. If you're taking your kids to the place you go where you normally buy camping equipment, regardless of what you are going to buy, whether it be a new tent, maybe you need a new cooler. Perhaps you want to get one of these neat little folding tables that you set up next to your cot inside your tent. I've got one of those. They come in real handy because when I bed down for the night, anything that is in my pocket is going on that table. And I like to have places to put things other than inside my shoes, which chances are I'm going to be getting up in the middle of the night and I'm going to need to put my shoes on. My toes do not need to be touching my keys or my wallet, all right? So yes, I like to have one of those neat little tables. There's always camping equipment, always some neat little stuff that you're going to need here and there, and it's good to take your family when you go along and allow them to be a part of that process. If you're going to be purchasing new gear, maybe you need a new lantern, or maybe you're going to go to buy a specific thing, take your kids along, talk to them about what you're buying. Let them be a part of the decision-making process. If you get down the aisle and there are several different varieties to choose from, let your kids take part. See what they like. Find out why they like this particular item. Maybe you can convince yourself that your kid is making the better decision than you as far as buying a particular piece of camping equipment. You just never know. Again, sit down with the family. You can browse the internet if you're looking for something big that you want to have shipped to the house as opposed to going out and buying. Sit down around the computer. Sit down and browse through some catalogs. Do your shopping together. And this way, it keeps your kids involved throughout the entire process. Discuss how you're going to be using that new gear on your next camping trip. And if it's going to be arriving UPS or however it gets there to your residence, then, have a countdown day. Because with the power of the internet, you can pretty much get an idea as to when your equipment is going to be arriving at your doorstep. Anytime that I buy something, I always have a tracking on my phone that's a little email piece that's sent to me that says, hey, you want to track this device, get an idea where it's at. I see it coming from Oklahoma. It finally arrives in Kentucky, then works its way here into the metro Atlanta area, goes to one particular point, then to another, and then I see it's out for delivery. And they're pretty good about pinpointing when the item is going to arrive at your doorstep. I think that's quite important today too, folks, especially if you have large boxes that are coming. Because we hear about this each and every year at Christmas and sometimes in between, that when boxes are placed outside a person's doorstep, in other words, at a time where they do not have to sign for a particular item, that box is sitting out there and anybody that drives by your residence can eye that box and start to make a determination if they are honest or not, and decide, well, hey, maybe I could use whatever's in that box, and when nobody is looking, they take that box and go and run off with it. And there goes your new gear that you were looking for, and it's because somebody was not home. This is why you want to ask your neighbors, folks, and stay in good contact with your neighbors, just in case you do have an important package coming. And I worry about this a lot. I have things that are shipped to my house all the time. I like using the internet to do my shopping. It saves me money in so many different ways, and it can save you money as well. A lot of folks who listen to this radio program do not have one of the big box stores in close proximity to where they live. It may be several hundred miles away. So if you're going to be doing your shopping with your family for any type of camping equipment or any type of camping gear, then chances are you're going to have your product delivered to you in this fashion. You want to make sure your product gets to you. You want to make sure your kids are excited about it, and you want to definitely make sure that you take possession of it and get it inside your home, out of sight, out of mind, each and every time. So keep that in mind, and that's something I just came up with here. I didn't have it in any of my show notes, but that's one of the things that I worry about all the time, folks. When you're having products shipped to your house, make sure that you do take possession out of them and somebody else does not. Make sure that when your gear arrives, allow them to help you unpack. And, find out if you got a brand new tent, if you got a new sleeping bag, take it out and take some time to get the feel of it. When you arrive at camp, you also want to allow your kids to help unpack and set up camp. Everybody should have an assignment, something to do, all right, because this also keeps your kids engaged. Setting up the tent, let everybody take part. If you're a young family, maybe you have a large tent. Maybe it's designed to sleep 8 people. There's no reason one person has to do it all by themselves. Let the youngsters help put together the tent poles, gather the tent stakes because you're definitely going to need them, help stretch the tent out, help air it out, get it all set up. Everybody should be taking part regardless of how young or how old they are. It's going to be important, however, to leave the adult-related chores to the grown-ups, and that includes things like lighting the campfire, lighting the camp stove, the lanterns. You want to explain to your children why certain activities are out of their age range, but at the same time, you do want to allow them to watch and learn. You know you're not going to allow somebody who never handled matches before to light the lanterns. You're not going to do that. All right, but they're going to be there. They're going to watch you, and you're going to explain to your kids why it's important not to play with matches because you can get burned, and let them know that someday they are going to be able to do this and do it by themselves because you took the time to teach them and allowed them to learn. Some other things you want to do at the campsite. Great times by the campfire can be had just about any night, weather permitting. Have a hot dog night. What kid does not like hot dogs? I could eat them by the dozens, even to this very day, if I'm hungry enough. Have a hot dog night. Roast marshmallows. Get some of those sticks that you can buy, those big, long metal sticks that you can cook about 2 hot dogs at the same time. Make sure you have one for everybody, and make sure you have plenty of hot dogs and hot dog buns there. These are great family-related activities by the fire. Do you have somebody in your household who is talented? Somebody who likes to play a guitar? Why not bring the guitar along and have a sing-along? Enjoy storytelling. I could sit there for hours and hours on end and have stories to talk about with anybody who sits around and is willing to listen to them. My nieces and nephews love to hear their Uncle Skip stories. They even tell me this. And anytime that I get them around a campfire, chances are I'm going to be talking about their mom or their dad growing up, or, and I'm going to be talking about, and folks, I was an instigator as I was a kid. I've got to admit that. And some of the things that I did to my brothers and sisters, it's just like, how on earth did he ever get away with that? And anyway, I tell this to my nieces and nephews, and they love hearing the old stories. If you like telling ghost stories, that's okay too, but keep the age of the child in perspective. You don't want to scare them half to death. You don't want to make it a situation where they never want to go camping again. That can very easily happen. Spend some time in the evening hours by the fire. At the same time, be mindful of your neighbors. Observe the quiet hours. Always have a plan to keep your kids occupied and keep them entertained. It's very, very important. Let's talk about where to take your kids camping. Now, public campgrounds, I love going to public campgrounds because they're very spacious, and there is a lot of public land involved, too. There's more hiking trails. You're going to find lots of opportunity to interact with nature and observe wildlife at many of your public campgrounds. We talk about our public campgrounds every week here on the show. I feature a new one each and every week. I would love to have the opportunity to visit every single one of them. I know that's not going to happen, but wow, some of these destinations are fantastic. Why would you not want to go? Well, if you're a young family, and again, we're talking about keeping your kids entertained and keeping them engaged in the world of camping, the best place you can do that, my friends, is going to be at a privately owned campground. And I'll tell you why. First of all, privately owned campgrounds are in the hospitality business. They're privately owned, and they are better equipped than many of your public campgrounds. They will include, many if not all, will have playgrounds for the kids. They are totally focused on the family. There's more things for kids to do at the private campgrounds, and they provide quality activity and entertainment throughout your entire stay. They are going to go that extra mile to keep families coming back. That's what they're in the business to do. And you'll be surprised when you visit a privately owned campground. You're going to meet some people there who are coming for maybe their 3rd or 4th visit. They like it so much. It is so entertaining to each and every one of the family members that why would they want to go anywhere else? And again, the people who own these campgrounds take a part in everything. They are there. They are there to make sure you have a good time. They are great hosts and hostesses, and you definitely want to consider visiting a privately owned campground anytime you go camping. If you're camping next to a lake, make sure that you bring along a shovel and a pail, because these kids are going to want to dig up the sand. And it's entertaining for them. Just don't tell them to go down to the beach and swim and sit up and enjoy the sun. They're not going to do that. And speaking of the sun, don't forget the sunscreen, especially this time of the year. When you're around water, I don't care if it's a lake, I don't care if it's a river or it's a stream, wherever you may be camping, it's important for you as a parent to keep a close eye on your children at all times. Never, under any circumstances, allow them to swim alone. Adults, that goes for you too. Never swim alone. Always let somebody know where you are. Make sure that if you're going to be swimming in the lake, your small children wear a life vest. It is so very, very important. There's going to be places where there are going to be lifeguards on duty and some places where there will not. So it's important for your kids to have a life vest. Take all the safety precautions you possibly can. While you're at camp, allow the kids to interact with other kids their age. Get acquainted with your neighbors. Campgrounds are an excellent place to meet people. You can bring along your bikes. Some campgrounds have designated bike trails. Make use of them. And most campgrounds, for that matter, offer a safe environment for you to take in biking. You're not going to have people driving through those campgrounds like maniacs. That's not what they're designed for. You're going to find most of the people who check in to the campgrounds are going to be family-oriented individuals, and they're going to be driving at a posted speed limit. Or if there is no speed limit sign posted, they're definitely going to be on alert for people who may be on the roadway. On the ride home, folks, this is just as important. You've got to keep your kids occupied there. Assign chores when you get home. They may be ready to just let go and run off and get together with their friends, but we know that we have to unpack the vehicle. Everybody should have an assigned task. Unpacking the gear and placing it in storage is very important. A couple final thoughts here. Remember, kids have plenty of energy. They do need to burn it off. Discourage horseplay anytime they're around camp. Again, there's plenty of things for them to do, and they don't want to be horseplaying around the tent or any camping equipment, especially maybe a stove or a lantern. You definitely want to keep them away from that. It's going to be tough to keep up with them. Remember, we were their age at one time. So when you're camping with kids, allow them to be kids. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Yep. I'm going to take you this week to a state that we have not been to in a very long time, but I found a campground at this location. I think this is going to be an excellent place to visit if by chance this summer you are visiting the state of Vermont. It is the Hapgood Pond Campground, and it's part of the Green Mountain and Finger Lakes National Forest. Folks, this is beautiful. If you like hideaway places, I love them. Hapgood Pond Campground is situated next to its scenic namesake pond, 13 miles from Manchester, Vermont. Visitors enjoy canoeing, kayaking, fishing, swimming, hiking, so much for you to see and do at this one particular campground. Hapgood Pond covers 8 acres and is set in a wooded area in the northeastern portion of the Green Mountain National Forest. Now, this forest, folks, covers over 400,000 acres. So you talk about wilderness, talk about being a part of it. The small pond is a popular place for non-motorized boating, including kayaking and canoeing, like we say. The Carry Down Launch is located at the south end of the pond. They have fishing and swimming. They're also favorite activities. And Hapgood boasts the forest's only designated and managed swim beach. They also have a fishing pier, which is located on the shore. Hapgood offers family campsites and day-use picnic shelter groups. First-come, first-served sites are also available. They have vault toilets and drinking water, which are provided. Each campsite is equipped with a picnic table, a campfire ring and grill, parking spurs, and a cleared area for a tent. They have a group picnic shelter, which can accommodate up to 35 people and is equipped with a pavilion, picnic tables, and a grill. Check out some of the things on their website, their activities and amenities, some of the things to know before you go. No lifeguard is on duty. We've talked about that. Never swim alone and swim at your own risk. Also, don't move firewood. Purchase your firewood locally. If you're looking for a great camping destination up in the Northeast this coming summer, consider Hapgood Pond in Vermont. It is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Of course, if you have a campground that you would like for us to feature on the program, definitely get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, and remember to include a link to the campground website. Well, folks, that's about all the time I have for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. And in a couple weeks from now, I am going to be taking part in the Great American Campout 2015, and I will be doing my radio show that Saturday night at Georgia's Stone Mountain Park. It's going to be a great episode. You definitely won't want to miss it. Remember, folks, every pet deserves a loving home. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can catch us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, and add us to Circles on Google+. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And yes, my friends, I am going to do my very best to make a happy camper out of you. We'll catch you next week. Have a great one, everybody. This is Happy Camper Radio.